back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Sue. Keep us up to date. The governor of Puerto Rico declaring a debt moratorium on a $400 million debt payment that was due May 1st by the island's government's development bank. It's resulted in the largest default yet for the U.S. territory, and there's $2 billion due later this summer. Alejandro Garcia Padilla is the governor of Puerto Rico, and he joins us now. Sir, good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So you're talking to an audience that believes very much in something that is the hierarchy of bonds. Some bonds are more valuable than others. Some bonds have more guarantees. You pay less for them, you pay more for them, you get less of a return, but still, in theory, they should be paid back first. You're on record that you want Congress to pass a law that would help Puerto Rico upend the hierarchy of bonds, which many of our viewers believe is a bedrock of the capital markets. Why should Congress do that for Puerto Rico?
It's not an issue of politics. It's not even an issue of policy. It's a mathematical issue. We do not have the money. It's as simple as that. And just as you said in the premises of your question, the creditors of Puerto Rico are in just one group. There's plenty of groups. GOs, those that are guaranteed by the sales tax, those that are guaranteed by the sales tax but are subordinated to the first one, those that are guaranteed by the government development bank guarantee. So, and they are fighting among each other. So it's a huge fight among them and with us. And we do not have the money. It's just mathematics.
But the cynics would say that the reason you want this passed is so that way, if you don't pay the money this summer, including to some bonds that are very, very high in the ranking, you're actually going to give preference to many other institutions in Puerto Rico which don't deserve it at this point.
Well, who said that don't deserve it? I think it's not a right way to see it. But what I'm telling them is $2 billion. I don't have 400 to pay the last one. I will not have 2 billions to pay the next one. So it's money that do not exist. That first. Second, if I stop providing essential services in the island, then the economy will go further deep into the hole where I found it, and I will have less to pay after. And if I do not have a restructuring process, then it will be a chaos litigation in many federal district courts, in many local courts, so it will be not an orderly process. So an orderly process is good for creditors, it's good for bondholders. So if our audience today believe in the supremacy of bonds, they should.
But right around the corner from Puerto Rico, sir, is Illinois.
Of an orderly process.
And if Congress changes the rules for Puerto Rico, then they could change the rules for Illinois. And we have state after state that is going to come forward with issues like yours, where you haven't been able to tell the unions, or you haven't been able to reduce the size of government, or you haven't been able to reduce the promises in pensions because there hasn't been political will. And it just gives you more and more of a lifeline not to take the hard choices.
Well, let's go to the facts now. I reduced 24% the cost of government. 24%. There's the report commissioned by me by the former chief economist of the International Monetary Fund. So those are the facts. That's the Conway report. That's the Secretary Jacob Lew letter of last Monday. You can check that out. And the letter says that I, as a governor, take the expenditures of the government back to where it was 11 years ago. Those are the facts. And so anyone that claimed that we haven't been able to reduce government size is just wrong. When I was sworn in, there were 105,000 public employees. Now we have 89 through attrition, 89,000. So those are the facts. But again, this is mathematics.
But you still don't have the money, you say, Governor. You still don't have the money. So that's on the other side. I mean, maybe you have reduced the spending side of this balance sheet, but the income side just isn't generating the money that you need. So what do you do about that?
And I increased the sales tax from 7 to 10.5%. It's the highest in the United States. So we increased revenues by 1 billion and reduce expenditures by 2 billions, but we do not have enough money. It's mathematics. So when you are in an atmosphere like that one, you need to restructure the debt.
If Congress does not pass this bill, what are you going to do on July 1st?
We can argue on a conservative side or a liberal side, but it's mathematics, and mathematics.
If Congress doesn't pass the bill, what do you do on July 1st, sir, if they don't pass that bill?
I cannot pay. I do not have a printing money machine. I cannot pay money I do not have. It's just like that, and the humanitarian crisis will be worse. And listen, if Congress act today, it will cost zero to U.S. taxpayers. If Congress do not act, then we will need a bailout. Right now, we do not need a bailout. I'm not asking, I do not want, and I haven't been offered a bailout. But if Congress do not act soon, then we will need a bailout, and it will be very expensive to U.S. taxpayers. Again, it's mathematics.
Governor, thank you so much for joining us. Puerto Rico Governor Alejandro Garcia Padilla. All right, let's get some reaction to the governor's comments. Joining us is Bill Fallon. He's the president and COO